Good morning, everyone. I say that as if I have all this energy when it's a Monday morning. Help. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday from Yokohama, Japan, where once again we are in my car. And for today's Vlogmas, I thought I would do a live chat because I worked on grades all night yesterday. So I didn't have time to edit or do anything else except concentrate on my grades, which are going to be due later on this week. This is the last week before winter break, so it's a busy one. For those of you that don't know me, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Kim, and I am an elementary school teacher here in Yokohama, Japan. I was an elementary school teacher in Los Angeles before coming to Japan, so I can honestly say that I know very well all the struggles that we go through during this holiday season. For many people, right around in other, start over. For many people in other parts of the world, school began in September. So this is like the break that's needed after the beginning of school. But in Japan, this is the second term. So, sorry, the sun is kind of giving wonky lighting. But this is the second term. It's one of the busiest terms in Japan, and it is winding down. As many of you know, because I think I've said it a couple of times before, Japan or Christmas is not recognized as a national holiday. So therefore, companies and schools and most businesses are open on Christmas Day. It's changing a little bit. Like, I think if you do celebrate Christmas and you took the day off, or you said you were going to spend Christmas Day with your family or whatever, I think it is respected, or it is understood that it is a holiday that is celebrated in other parts of the world, and it's one of the most important holidays for a lot of people and a lot of families. So that being said, I think it is recognized as a holiday, but as far as the Japanese calendar goes, it's not. And so school can sometimes end on Christmas Day. My school happens to end on next Monday. Hey, good morning, Hugo. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. So this is the last week of classes. Thursday, classes are over. And then Friday, we are given a sort of a grading day to finish up any grades and get them into the system if we haven't already done that, before this week. So I always figure if you can get it done, the earlier you can get it done, you don't have to worry about it. And I really like the way my school operates this, because if you get your grades done before Friday, then you have Friday off. And it doesn't mean that you can go far away and you can celebrate, because it is also a time that the homeroom teacher may check, and if they have any questions about the grades that specialist teachers give, they may want to call you in, or if you've made a mistake or an error when you submitted your grades, you can change it and go in on that day to get things fixed up. Since specialist teachers have to have their grades in by Thursday, well, then it only makes sense to get it in on Thursday so you don't have to come in on Friday. Saturday, the way the calendar fell this year, Saturday we have to come in for a meeting, which sometimes can take a long time, to go over struggling students and to go over any grades that maybe other teachers might question or be concerned about. It's kind of a nice chance for the whole school to know which students may be struggling at different grade levels. Just because you teach 5th grade or 4th grade doesn't mean that information about some kids that are struggling during 1st and 2nd grade might not be of value to you. It kind of gives you an idea of what needs they might have. Hey, good morning. Brittany, thank you for stopping by. I'm just talking about getting ready for the holidays here in Japan as far as school goes. The other thing, and I put this in the title, and it was too long, so I had to change my title, but can you guess what one of the biggest challenges is challenges are. One of the biggest challenge for a teacher at the primary school level, maybe at any school all over the world, is, I know it's a weird one. I never really thought about it much when I was teaching back in the US, but I notice it more so here in Japan. The problem or the challenge I have is when there is a conflict, or not like a conflict as in a fight, but what children believe when they're in grades 1 and 2, the question about, is Santa Claus real? Is there really a Santa Claus? Is it your mom and dad? Is it, does Santa really live here or there? Or how come I see Santa Claus everywhere? And et cetera, et cetera. You guys know what I mean. I believe there was one case a few years back where a teacher in the US, I think it was, actually got either fired or reprimanded for telling her second grade students or something about what she believed about Santa Claus, and it kind of crushed a lot of the dreams that many of her children in her class had. And I get that dilemma, because you don't really want to spoil or crush dreams that perhaps parents created, families created, or that the children have had in them, imagined for themselves. And at the same time, you don't want to put on what you grew up with and your beliefs and how you enjoy the holidays and how you celebrate onto your students to influence them in any way. So it's kind of tough. What I've done over the years is I always say that holidays and, the spirit of Christmas, or how you celebrate with traditions and customs, is different for every family. Some families don't celebrate Christmas. They celebrate other ways to recognize gift giving, or the winter season, or things that they were taught or believe from their church or their religion. And I tell the students that it's not only different maybe from country to country, but it's also different from family to family. And just because family A celebrates Christmas in a different way than family B, and different from family C, who doesn't celebrate Christmas at all, none of them are the right way to celebrate. It's how you and your family and your loved ones celebrate. That's the Christmas that you can believe in. I don't know if that made sense. I try and explain it in a way to children so that they kind of understand that you don't have to compare. You don't have to watch TV and think, how come my family doesn't do that, etc. It's just very, very difficult. Yeah, right? I mean, some celebrate it with families, some celebrate it, maybe they don't have all the decorations or festivities. Maybe some families, right, they don't give gifts during the holidays. We also kind of tell our students during, when we're doing our classes, is that we don't do gift exchanges, or we want to instill the spirit of giving, but you can give in other ways than just a material present. You can give the gift of friendship, you can give the gift of kindness, and you can give the gift of helping people or animals or organizations that need your help. We used to collect donations as a school. The students in each class would collect the donations, and then we would take it to the post office on the closing day of school and mail off our donations. But after situations in the world changed, and we realized that some families, it might be really difficult right now to spare that extra change, especially if family members have lost jobs or you've had to deal with situations, unfortunate circumstances. So we tell them that you can talk with your family about ways that you can help or ways that you can give. How do you want to give? We even tell the students, just giving your time and your love and your help to your parents is a big help. Hey, Eric. I am on top of the world, sort of. I'm sort of on the top of a zillion documents. How you doing, Eric? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, it's I worked all last night on grades. I had to do my grades for 2nd grade and 5th grade. I had to watch, how many videos did I watch? Our 5th graders made these iMovies, 2-minute iMovies, but it was using the dialogue that we had talked about with them and incorporating it into sort of a comedy skit. And yeah, the skit was really simple. It's just, it comes from the grade, I think it's either the grade 5 or 6 national textbook, where the target sentence is, I want to blah, 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 blah. Or as they say in Japanese, I want to nani nani. So it's like, where do you want to go? I want to go to, and then you name a place. Oh, what do you want to do there? Or what do you want to eat there? Or why do you want to go? I can't remember the exact sentence. And the students will say, oh, thanks. I haven't been able to come live for a while. I've been kind of juggling between trying to get videos out for Vlogmas and then wanting to come live, but it's really hard to do it when I'm walking. I find that I need a better stabilization system, so it helps when I can just sit and talk. I do have to get into the class a little bit earlier, so I keep watching my time. I apologize if it looks rude to keep looking at the watch. Anyways, so I had to watch those videos and I had to assess them, not only on their conversation and what they did with the skit, but also on the process that led up to it, because it's not always the final result. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it has, hasn't it? It's not always the final results that you want to give an assessment to. You also want to assess children. Hashtag Monday. You also want to assess children on the process that got them there. Were they good team members? Did they follow through with their responsibilities? Because the teams were teams of 3 or 4. And each student had a responsibility. So we had the script editor that had to edit the script that the students were supposed to have made together. And then we had the slides editor, and that person was in charge of choosing the slides for the background for their video. And then the third responsibility was the video editor that had to edit the raw footage that they took of their skit when they performed it in front of the classroom, and then put in whatever they wanted to make it a short 2-minute movie. Didn't have to be 2 minutes. Some were a little bit shorter, some were maybe a few minutes longer, but we had different elements and different skills that we wanted the children to do. We wanted each member to have a pretty good leadership role as far as delegating responsibilities and working together. And we wanted them to be a little bit stronger in their conversational ability, because for those of you that teach here in Japan, you know that a lot of students memorize dialogues, but it's not natural conversation. So if you say something different than what the students believe is the expected answer, then sometimes it gets them all, messed up, or they don't know how to respond. One of the biggest examples of that is, a lot of schools in Japan start the day off with, good morning, blah, blah, blah. Good morning, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. How about you? Or how are you? And if you say something like, oh my gosh, I had a really busy day, they're not expecting that. No, everything with our school I can't post. As far as like faces or whatever. We do have not a YouTube channel. It's like a private YouTube channel that just our school uses for certain videos. So yeah, it has to be confidential to protect people's privacies, including my colleagues' privacy. Gosh, I'm really grammatically challenged today. I need a grammar system for my speech. Anyways, yeah, so had to listen through that, and I think it came out well. I think the children did a good job. But yeah, it's what I was saying about the monkey wrenches is when a different answer is thrown out, they really don't know how to respond. And that's why a lot of times when you're having conversations with a Japanese person with limited English ability, it's really hard for them sometimes to understand an answer if there's any variation to it. Do you know what I mean? So we try and teach our students that there's so many different ways to answer the question, how are you? And there's so many different ways to say, how are you? Because my partner teachers from Australia, when you say like, how you going? Or how you go? Or, you know, like if I were from the US, I'd say, hey, how's it going? How's everything? It's different than what, you know, people may say in Australia. So we want to give that experience or that knowledge, conversational knowledge to our students so that they can listen and be more aware and not have to think that you have to respond with a certain answer. So this skit thing, right, when they're talking about where they wanted to go, in years past, the way that was yeah, I think so too. I think it's kind of I mean, maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable for some students that really need that scaffolding. But in years past, the grade 5 skit has been very scripted and structured. And my partner teacher and I, we both found that a little bit limiting and a little bit unnatural. It's the same way like when students talk and they say, where do you want to go? And then you say something like, oh, I want to go to Japan. Why do you want to go to Japan? I want to go to Japan to eat Japanese food and see blah, blah, blah. And then you might go, yeah, let's go, right? That's what I would say, like, oh, well, great, let's go. But the scripted version said something like, let's check it out. And to me, that's kind of dating. Like, I don't usually say, let's check it out. And that's how the students would say it. Like, where's the feeling? And it doesn't sound natural. So when you're with your friends, right, you would think of what you would say or like, oh, yeah, I want to go too. Or, I mean, just variations. So I had to listen to all those skits. And most of them were pretty good. There were a few that told me they still need a little bit of practice. But I also know what went on behind the scenes. Like I know which kids were very good about leading others and supporting others. I know which kids didn't want to make changes or didn't want to do anything to assist, you know, with that. So anyways, so that was that. That's what I did all weekend. Getting back to those challenges, teaching and trying not to crush dreams and keep things alive is important. And something to be mindful and respectful of when you are teaching young children, especially the primary kids. You don't want fights breaking out. By fights, not fist fights, but verbal fights about one child that tells the other kids, you know, there's no Santa, it's your mom and dad. And the other kids that say, yes, there is a Santa. I wrote him a letter and I got a letter, you know, back. Or whatever the situation is. I'm in my ugly Christmas, what do you want me to say, Eric? What would you like me to say? I don't know if I can say it all that great. And then I'll have all the Japanese people saying, oh my gosh, that girl, she needs to correct her Japanese. Anyway, I'm wearing my little Christmas sweater today and wearing the little earrings because I do have first grade and we are watching Raymond Briggs's The Snowman, which is a movie with no dialogue. So it's kind of a good one to elicit dialogue, but it does have a pretty interesting story as well. So that's what we're doing with first graders and fifth graders. We are watching those skits or the movies that they made. So I tell you, I am on Twitter, Eric. Kim and Sin. So just, yeah. I sometimes post stuff there. I post a lot of stuff there during certain times. So if you're on there, let me follow you as well. So, all right, I guess I got to get in. And see, that was bad grammar. I must get in, or I have to go. I have to go in and start the day. We're going with the blue today. Not because I'm feeling blue, but just because it matches. Yeah, for those of you unfamiliar, Raymond Briggs' The Snowman is a book, and it was made into a movie, and we sometimes get tears. Sounds good, Eric. We sometimes get tears because it is kind of it's a movie from maybe a child's perspective, about maybe feeling a little bit lonely on the holidays and maybe just imagining different things. Yeah. It's one of our favorite lessons because as a teacher, we just watch with the students. But it's interesting to see Japanese children look at the story and react just from a film with no dialogue. So yes, that's you can probably find the film on YouTube. I think we got it from a DVD or something. So that's one challenge. The other challenge I'll save for a different day because it's maybe a little bit too depressing. But I think you guys know when you deal with the loss, whether it be a family member or someone close to you, it's hard during the holidays, and especially for a child. The loss doesn't have to be, the loss is a pet. We had a child last week who lost his sister. It was really sad. The sister was ill, and I believe she was under the age of 5. I'm not sure how old she was. And for a child to have to deal with death during the holidays, it's not a happy time. And so you try and make the situation, a positive one, but it's tough. And it's something that, it's really tough, I think, for teachers to have to deal with children that are dealing with the loss of someone, and in the same classroom deal with children that are super excited about something that they're going to be doing. Yeah. So when you think about it, we've got a classroom filled with children with all these different experiences and different things that they're going through, and it is tough. So think of your child's teacher or teachers in general during this time, because we want the holidays to be a pleasant time and a happy time and a good memory for the children while they're at school in the classroom. But there are so many things we have to take into consideration and be considerate of and understanding and respectful of. When I was in Los Angeles, we had so many different cultures, and you know that different cultures celebrate in different ways. Different religions celebrate in different ways. I don't have that much of a problem as here in Japan, since it's pretty much everyone has basically the same things that they do. But at the same time, I do try to be very respectful and mindful. I'll give you your Japanese, Eric. I'll say, "Ja mata," where it's like, I'll see you later. But no, thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by. And I hope you are enjoying Vlogmas. It is very challenging for me, but I am enjoying doing it and sharing what the holidays are like for me here in Japan. Sinbad is doing well, so he's probably sleeping and resting. I will catch you all later. Thanks, you guys, for joining in. Hugo, Eric, always appreciate the conversation we have. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. And I will see you all soon. All right. Thank you. Bye. Yeah.